Hello from Brownlow Financial Headquarters, now here on Bluebonnet. Most of you know that we moved. We got a brand new building right at the corner of Jefferson and Bluebonnet. Come by and see us. Just to give you a little update, our office is closed currently in Mandeville and also in New Orleans. So ultimately we're doing meetings right here from the office. We're doing a Zoom meeting. We're busier than ever. I'm seeing 7, 8, 9 people a day as a Zoom meeting. So if you're already working with us, it's more important than ever to get on a phone call with us and we'll do a Zoom meeting. We'll get you plugged into that. Now, coronavirus update. So as you know, a lot of things have been happening. We have stay-at-home orders. The question is, how is your money doing and what's your next step? We're going to give you 3 actionable steps right now to take with your money. It's more important than ever whether you work with us or not. So if you work with us, you have comfort to know you have a plan. You know that we've already thought about reducing your risk. If you're not working with us or you just took our class, the goal is to find ways to reduce your risk. Number 1, find ways to increase your income. Number 2, help you stay retired. So the last thing you want to do is have to go back to work. Now your coworker is still working. You need to forward this message to them because they are panicking. They have no idea what to do. The average person with a 401k today on $1 million has lost $300,000. So we're getting panic phone calls. We're getting people driving in from Texas. It is what it is. I've been through now my 3rd recession now in 21 years. I'm Brian Lowe at Brownlow Financial here, 21 plus years now in the business. We're going to give you the coronavirus update on what you should do right now. So action steps to take. As we go through this, we got a few things happening. The Dow extends its 2-day sell-off, 1,900 points, and the CDC tells people we have an outbreak coming, right? So everybody starts to panic. And then every continent except Antarctica has reported antivirus case out there. So step 3, it says sweeping closures of Italian towns. Everybody's been shut down, right? Israel says anyone entering the country must be self-quarantined for 14 days. So again, people now stay-at-home order. People worried about food. People worried about your older relatives, your mother, your father, taking care of older people. So are you worried about your finances and what your next step would be? Of course you are. So again, we're reaching out to people. We want you to call in, listen to our updates as we go through these things. So how this will affect you, we've got 3 action steps we want to take right now. So ultimately it says the Dow falls 2,100 points in a day. So again, on $300,000, some of you might have lost in your 401k 20% or more. Now, if you're working with us, y'all realize most of my clients have 70, 80% of the money already safe. So they're not experiencing that same loss. I love it when I call a client and say, hey, you didn't lose any money. You had 20% of your money in the market and you lost 5%, whereas your buddy lost 30% of his total portfolio. So I can't tell you how many thank yous I'm getting today because of the service we're providing. So I'm extremely thrilled to say we're doing a good thing. Now, New York Stock Exchange, the circuit breaker stopped. Unbelievable. They stopped it more than one time and it could be more to come. So on a S&P 500, if you want to access your money on April the 6th at 8 o'clock in the morning, you looked at your account, everything was great. You had $500,000 invested, and by 5 o'clock that evening, you went down to $460,000. So would that concern you? Would that panic you? Of course it would. When it comes to the old rule of thumb, the 4% rule of thumb, it may not work anymore. Now, translation, $38,000 disappeared overnight. Now, if you're taking income of 5% on the $500,000 and you needed that money, Social Security, a pension, and the other 20 grand a year to live, and you just lost $38,000, you're now doing what we call reverse dollar cost averaging. So that's not going to work. You could potentially run out of money. The goal is how to reduce the risk and ensure you won't run out of money. So we have solutions for that. Of course, you're worried out there. The rule of 4% used to work. The question is, $500,000 at a 4% withdrawal rate was 20 grand a year. So again, if you lost 38,000, it could blow this up. And again, the distribution rate can run out of money over time. So now is a good time to call back in. Let's redo your numbers to make sure everything we did for you in the past is working its way out. And that's the great thing is we're giving you a clean bill of health and giving you some confidence and some comfort and some sleep medicine right now. So everybody needs it. So like you, are you worried about your finances? Again, if you're working with me already, you know that you're safe. When people call me or we get in touch with them, they say things like this: Brian, I didn't call you right now because I know you're busy. And you're right, we are busy. At the same time, we are not busy enough for you, but we'll be happy to take your call. We're not too busy. We want to get you through a Zoom meeting. There even are some people that would be willing to come in for a visit. Look, it's easy to do a Zoom meeting. We'll get you plugged in and take care of that for you. Now, the question is, what 3 actionable steps should be taken right now with your money? Now, on the screen, it says 3 action steps to take right now. Number 1, risk exposure. How much risk do you have in the market? So is it 10%, 20%? If you're already with me, it's probably less than 30% anyway. So in that 30%, it was probably 30% less risk than the market anyway. So again, if you had 30 grand or 100,000 in the market and it went down 5% versus your buddy losing 30%, you're in a much better position when the market recovers. The question is, when the market rebounds quickly, as we think it will, what's going to be your next step from there? Again, if you already work with me, more than likely the answer is stay the course. If you're with a 401k, thinking about retirement, or you have a broker, a big box brokerage company, Edward Jones, Morgan Stanley, any big name company out there, the question is, what are they suggesting you to do? What's your fee? We want to calculate your cost and see if we can lower your fee as well. So again, on the screen, this is suggesting a $500,000 portfolio, or it could be $1 million. So think about what number you have. Let's use a $1 million case. So it says 2013 bull market. Those were good years. We've had 10 years of a bull market run. But let's look back in 2013. With a risk of 72, it's going to tell us that you can make as much as 32%, so 300,000. It also says as a risk number of 72, you could end up making even less than that. So the question is, what's your risk number? Now, if I look at 2008 bear market, what happens? With a risk number of 72 on $1 million, that could lose 368,000. So the question is, what is your risk number? Do you know your risk number? Now, if you're already with me, we're going to tell you what your risk number is. It's going to be probably pretty low anyway, but it does help you to have comfort to know what it is. So we want to dust it off to show you what your risk number is. If you had a risk portfolio of 31, it says you could lose $100,000. So even with a low risk number, you could still lose $100,000 on $1 million. The question is, again, what is your risk number? Now, financial crisis. This is saying on $1 million that someone could lose $500,000. It's a lot of money, 50%. That's with a risk of 72. It says here with a risk of 31, it could be 160. So obviously with a lower risk number, it was only 160 versus 500,000. So a big difference. Again, with me, if you're already with me, your risk number is probably pretty low anyway. If you're not working with us, you took my class recently and you just found out that you have a risk number of 65 or greater, the question is, what are your next steps going forward? So again, we're going to give you 3 actionable steps. This is 1, uncover your risk review. Okay. Number 2, retirement income analysis. We're going to do financial analysis and income roadmap. For a lot of you out there, you already have done that with us, and this is called the Brian Lowe Retirement Roadmap. So again, whether you work with me or not, we'll dust it off, revisit it, and confirm and give you comfort to know you're heading in the right direction, and you're not going to have to disrupt your life or income in any way. So if you're not working with us, again, that's a valid point. Call in, no matter who you're working with. Broker, banker, insurance agent. You're probably working with a friend of mine I already know anyway. But again, we want to look at finra.org. Look up the licenses they have. We want to make sure they have a Series 65. They want to have a Series 7. And they've been a CEO for 20 plus years. So the point being is this. Give me a call. Give me the name. I'll plug it in. I'll send you the report. I'll also send you the risk report to tell you what your risk exposure is. My question to you is, why are they not doing this for you? Again, if you already work with me, we do this for you on a quarterly basis anyway, but we want to share it with you to give you additional comfort right now. So retirement income analysis, that's your next step. Number 3 would be holistic financial plan. So again, a lot of you run around this town without a true financial plan. Now again, if you're working with me already, we have a financial plan. When I pull out your folder, we go through it, the numbers are right in front of me. I know what your net worth is, and I know how much income you're taking, and we're just going to give you additional comfort to know, hey, you're going to get through this time. In another 30, 40 days, it's going to be a different world. Everybody's working from home today, but in another 30 days, things are going to be back to work. People are just not going to be staying at much anymore, and they may even go back to work even though the governor says stay at home. But the point is this, things are happening. The holistic financial plan, whether you work with us or not today, we want to dust it off and see what your next step is. Now, on your screen there's going to be my calendar. Whether you work with me or not, you can just log in and pick a time and date that works for you. So I want to challenge you right now to look at the bottom of your screen and click on my calendar and find the time and date that works for you. The second option is to email brian@brianlowfinancial.com, and we'll give you a time and date that might work for you. At the same time, you can email your statements, your Fidelity account, your Schwab account, anything you might have outside of us. We'll go ahead and plug it in. And just like the other day, we did a review for a client that was out of state, and we already knew they had assets with a particular company, and we just did exactly what we're doing right here for them. And because of technology, he said, Brian, pick it up, move it over, move it into your house. Now, we quite frankly are using TD Ameritrade to hold those assets because there's no cost to hold it, there's no fee to you. The question is, what's your next step from there? Now, on my screen, I can click one little button and do this risk report for you, whereas in the Merrill Lynch account or the Edward Jones account, they're not offering this tool inside of it. Now, the question is why? I don't know why, but let's just add some additional value to you. If you have anything outside of us, dust it off, email it in, and we'll plug it into the system to see what risk it does have. Now, this is the coronavirus sheet. We want to email you. You can ask Carolyn at 225-292-4225, or you can email Carolyn at brianlowfinancial.com. She can email you this form. On the screen again at the bottom, there'll be my time and date to pick a time and date, the calendar. But also we want to email you this response form. Now real quick, it has three things. It says, number one, risk exposure review. That's the primary purpose we want you to get out of this is what is your next step? Come on in. I say come on in. Let's be on the Zoom meeting. Retirement income analysis. Rerun your income analysis to ensure what? Based on what's happened in the market, how did it affect any position you have with us or outside of us to say that you're going to not run out of money. And then number three, holistic plan. Now, again, if you're with me already, we already have a plan, but it's good to now go back to it, to have comfort to know, hey, even during this market correction, your plan did not blow up and you're not going to run out of money. So again, it'll give you comfort. And then there may be some additional other item you want to cover that may be there as well. But email me or email Carolyn at brianlowfinancial.com. Check on the calendar on your screen. Pick a time and date that works for you. So I want to challenge you. We have up and coming classes coming up next week and the following week. You know, my class is usually at the library. You know, I've taught at LSU. We teach at UNO. We teach at Tulane. We teach at the libraries. Now, because of the issue, we're coming to you. So you have no excuse not to get on my class. So we had 160 people on Friday sign up to listen to this. Now, this is a better version because we have a professional now here videoing this. When we try to do it ourselves, we didn't have all the tools. So yes, you couldn't hear me quite as good last time, but this is a much better version. So I want to thank you for trying. We had 1 million phone calls on Friday that said you had connection problems, you couldn't do it, couldn't hear me well, but now you have no excuse. The class is coming up next week and the following week. Email me for the time and dates. It's going to be a 2-night session. It's probably going to be 1.5 hours to 2 hours a night. And it's going to be 2 different nights. So again, we're going to dust off the textbook. If you're not working with me, we can actually mail you a textbook. But quite frankly, we're going to get you through everything online. We're going to cover taxes. We're going to cover the Roth conversion. Now more than ever, it's a good idea to do a Roth conversion. So if we have an IRA and the stock price is down, we can pick up the account and move into some Roth IRA, pay a little bit of taxes on the conversion, and when the market goes back up, it's going to go up and be worth more money and on a tax-free basis. Those are great ideas. We also want to consider the Index UL to create more tax-free income for you down the road, and that could be 20 to 30% more tax-free income for you. Now, before the market correction, we were already doing that. It made a lot of sense for a lot of people, but today, now more than ever, with the market the way it is, there's other options out there. If you're wanting to buy some stocks, we want to do that for you. We will email you the top 50 stocks of what to buy today. If you're looking for fixed income securities, we want to show you 5, 6, 7% alternatives, but we want to definitely reduce your risk exposure and what you're doing. So again, Brian Lowe here. Call me, email me, get the form, get on the calendar, and I can tell you we're working harder than ever I have in 20 years. My 3rd recession, I can remember it like it was yesterday. When I worked at Chase Bank, it was what? 2000 to 03 market correction. Then it was what? ING. When I worked at ING, the stock market crashed in 2007 to 09. Harrison was born in 2006. So I remember it like it was yesterday. He's 13. So 13 years ago, is when I opened up my own company. And my point is this: we've been teaching classes. That's the class you want to take coming up. This is just 3 actionable steps to take today with coronavirus. I want to lead you to now jump into the class next week and the following week to now brush it off. Like the smartest client I help, we call him Gary the Control Freak to his face. I love him to death. If you're listening, Gary, I love you. But the point is this: even he, Gary, that knows everything, has taken a class with the wife that I said, Gary, I held everything for you. Your wife's a CPA as well. What do you want me to do for you next? He says, well, take it through step by step like you did for me from day one. But to this day, we've still never seen her. Why? Because Gary trusts us 100%. If he died tomorrow, he's such in control, he doesn't let her deal with the money. But I always ask him, Gary, if you died tomorrow, do you trust the fact that I'll take care of her? He says 110% yes. So like you, this is for your wife. This is for you to give you comfort. Let's revisit what you're doing. Whether you think you know everything or not, I want to challenge you. Let's give you some other alternatives outside of what you're doing. And again, share this with your friend. Don't keep this a secret. Your friends need us now more than ever. Again, signing off here, Brian Lowe at Brian Lowe Financial. Come see the new office when things settle up within 30 days, right here on Bluebonnet 4463. Bluebonnet, looking forward to seeing you. Have a great day. Get the BLO difference.